Hey guys, so Bryce sent me a short block of Husqvarna 450 so that I would be able to actually put together my 450 Rancher to use as a giveaway saw. And he actually sent me, it came with a cylinder as well. And so his cylinder was a little bit better than mine. So I used it and I ported it up. First I got the numbers, and the numbers were pretty good. The exhaust is actually very good on the exhaust and transfers. The exhaust was 104 and the transfers were 118. So it gives you 14 degrees of blowdown and plenty of exhaust timing to utilize all the power stroke as you can, as much as you can. For a saw like this, it might be better, honestly, to have 106, 107, but it is what it is. We're at 104, and that's nothing to complain about, right? So what I want to do is show you the port work. So this right here is the stock cylinder. This right here, ported cylinder. You see what I did? Right there is where the fuel flows from the crankcase up into the transfers. So I cut that out. All right, and that's it. That's all I did for that right there. Transfers, didn't touch them. Exhaust, can you see the exhaust down there where I widened it up? Yeah, you can see it a little bit. Widened it up, not widened. Let's see if the flashlight will help. Not widened, widened. All right. And then for the intake, I dropped it down about as low as I could without getting into that transfer. I'm sorry, the impulse port. All right. Now these right here have a little teeny tiny opening for the intake, and they are actually known to have a small carb, a little tiny small carburetor. So I wanted as much intake timing as I could get. And what I ended up getting is about 84 degrees of intake timing. Or actually, it's, 168 degrees of intake timing. 84 degrees is when it comes open. So, I'm going to put it back together right now. And what we're going to do is do a muffler mod and then send it, see how it runs. And I'll show you the muffler mod whenever I get it done. Whatever I'm going to do is going to be real simple, quick, and easy. And because this is like, I wouldn't pull one of these apart, and I wouldn't recommend pulling one of these apart to port them, because they just very minuscule gains. It's really not worth messing with unless it's your own saw and you're wanting to play with it. And but as far as like sending one of these things off to get a port job, oh no, don't waste your money. But I have it here and it's all broke down and I have to put it back together anyways, so might as well see if we can get a little bit of gains, and we'll see how it goes. All right. So big shout out again to Bryce. Thank you very much, sir. Let's show you the muffler mod real quick. It's got an open can. I hope you can see that. All I did was drill a hole in the side of it and then add this little reflector or deflector. So muffler mod on these things, quite easy. All right, I've already fired it up, got it tuned up a little bit. I had to go way out on the on the low jet, but that I turned it back in since. Trying to get it to start initially was really difficult, but now it runs good. Let's see, RPM. Real fat. 12,900. Let's go ahead and take that in a little bit. Ooh, it's going slower now. over the place. Put it in the woods. I don't think it's oil in the chain. And yeah, it's dry as a bone. It's hot. So I don't think it's oil in the chain. It's also that chain ain't the sharpest chain in the world. It's not bad, but I'm having to push it through. But I think we'll leave that for somebody else. Spend enough time and money on this saw. You know, that's a shame. I'm going to go back there and I'm going to mess with that, see if I can get it to oil and put a sharper chain on it, because it's pulling good. It's got good power. It really does. It's got good power. So I'm going to dick around with it a little bit more, come back out here and see if I can make it a little bit better. I did a timing advance on it too. I should tell you that too. Probably about 4 or 5 degrees timing advance. I just guessed. You know, yeah, it's running good. It really is. I'm mildly impressed. All right, so I sharpened that chain up. Cleaned out the oiler, but honestly, it seemed like it should be working just fine. Everything was clear. I mean, I blew through it and you got a little sputter, you know, but seems like it should be oiling fine. Oil would run out that hole as well. You see what I'm saying? So it's like there seems to be no clog, but restart on this thing so far has been fantastic. Watch it make a fool of me, but no, there we go.
Idle kicked up on it a little bit there. I hear it too. Don't know what's going on there, but we'll save any further testing for hopper stock. I don't know. That idle going up like that, I'm scared. I bet you I can tune that out of it. But as far as power goes, I mean, that is completely fine and respectable. Oh yeah, she's oiling now. I mean, it's still warm to the touch, but I can see it. Before it was dry as a bone. Now oil's actually getting to it. As far as power goes, I mean, that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly acceptable. Let's cut the end off of this white oak right here. Whoa, make sure you're pointing in the right direction. White oak is hard. Boy, I don't like that. I don't like how it's idling high all of a sudden. Yee. But it's consistent idling high. I will say that, so I bought a kit with the Chinese top end and seals and bearings and everything. And Well, I didn't use the cylinder or the piston or anything because I had a good OEM one. It's still cool. But anyways, it was supposed to come with those gaskets, the base gaskets. They're the little rubber seals, and it did not. And so when I put it together, I actually put it together just with Moto Seal, real thick layer of Moto Seal on the bottom. Might have opened up an air leak. I don't know. But damn. I don't have my screwdriver or anything here with me to turn it down, so it is what it is. We're done with this video. This thing right here, next time you'll see it, is a hopper stock, and I am going to give it away there at hopper stock to somebody. That way it'll save me on shipping. And hopefully it'll run good for whoever. But that chain sharpened up real nice, didn't it? I just sharpened it up. It took a couple swipes off of the rakers. Called it good. Just cutting good. You can really feel it pulling into this this white oak like crazy. White oak is hard, man. Woo, brother. So, but anyways, that's enough for the video. I hope you like it.
I figured I'd just throw this in there as well. After I ran it now, earlier, you know, I was like saying, oh, these things ain't worth porting. I have a different opinion now. That thing's perfectly acceptable. I mean, I don't know how they run in stock form, so I don't have anything to gauge it off of. But the way it sits, as far as the power goes, it's definitely as fast and as strong as a Echo 501P or a 4910 that's stock. Hell, I'd even go stock with a muffler mod, you know? I mean, I was impressed by it. Really, it's a perfectly acceptable little 50cc saw. I like it a lot. I mean, as I was using it to cut the leftovers from my sawmill, I was in my head going, man, I don't want to get rid of this thing now. I mean, I'm going to, and I've got plenty of other better saws to use instead of it. But if you have one of these things and you want to try porting, it is a perfect saw to port because you don't need no wheel, nothing. I didn't put a wheel. Well, actually, I did put a wheel on it. Sorry, I put my digital gauge on there. But listen, here's what you do. On the bottom end, the transfers there, that notch, cut that out. Don't need a degree wheel for that. You just cut it out about 1/4 of an inch. Make sure it's got room to flow in there nicely. No big deal. On the piston side, stay away from the outside. Okay, so on the cylinder, the inside cylinder side, don't need a degree wheel for that. The exhaust is fine. You don't have to touch it. If you want to widen it up a little bit, go ahead. I didn't bevel the edges or anything. All I did was widen it out on that side, and really you can't go too far because it's not like the ring is going to catch or anything, because the pin for the ring and the piston is on the intake side, so you're golden there. So just widen it out. As the exhaust goes straight across and down like this, right? Don't touch the top at all. Just oval out those sides like that. And if you oval them out, you don't have to worry about that ring popping in there and getting hung on the exhaust roof. It's foolproof. Then you just take a little bit of sandpaper and clean up the edges around it with your finger. And get in there like that and just clean up those edges. On the intake, you have an impulse line, a little hole at the bottom of the intake that feeds your impulse line for your carburetor. Just use that as your gauge. Go right down to the top of that and stop. Just go straight across. And Don't go into that impulse line. Do not. You see that little hole there? You can't go past that hole, and don't go into that hole. But aside from that, you're golden. Just go down to that. Make sure you've got a solid line all the way across there. You don't cut into your impulse hole at all. And that'll give you between about 84, 85 degrees on your intake opening. And that's it. So this would be a perfect saw for you to learn how to port with. It's, like I said, I don't know how they run stock, but right now, the thing runs good. It's good torque. It doesn't have high RPM. My guess is probably got a limited coil on it. I don't know. I don't know. But whenever it was cutting, it was only cutting a little over 10,000 RPMs, which is pretty slow, but it's not bad. I mean, I hesitate to say this, but yeah, it feels about like a stock 346 XP. The 346 XP gets a lot of praise, and in stock form, I don't think it deserves it. In stock form, they're just like anything else, really. I mean, they're pretty good for sure, but I don't think they're all that. And that thing, if you got one of those laying around and you're wanting to dick around with porting, do it, because you don't need no wheel, nothing. You don't need no angle grinder. You don't need nothing like this, right? Just your little Dremel will work. And just take that intake floor down real close to that impulse hole. Just real close, okay? Make sure you still got a good solid line around that impulse hole. Don't go into that, okay? And if you do that, you're going to be at about 84, 85 degrees on your intake opening. The exhaust, widen it up. On the bottom transfers, the bottom transfer, this right here, cut about 1/4 of an inch out of that. Smooth it over real nice. Use your sandpaper to go around and clean up where you ported with your Dremel. Put it back together. And do a muffler mod. That's a really simple little port job, and I would highly recommend it. That's a nice little saw. It is. So hopefully it doesn't have an air leak. It could very well be that this thing has set for 3 years, and all the diaphragm and all the bits and pieces inside the carburetor just finally got loosened up and it started flowing better. And that's what caused the idle to kick up like that. Or it could have an air leak because I didn't have the proper pieces to put it back together for the bottom end, those little rubber seals. Either way, whatever, we'll run it at hopper stock and see how she does, and see if somebody wants to take it home. Zang!